morning and good luck. And welcome back to Good Luck with Gino, episode 78. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you like the episode, save it to your device, and send it to a loved one or an enemy. If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, shouldn't you? You're going to go ahead and smash that like button. You're going to super smash that subscribe button, and you're going to grease up that algorithm by leaving a comment. I'm your host, Gino the Ghost, and you are an oil man. So grease up that rhythm, leave a comment below, and buckle up for the Election Day special of Good Luck with Gino. Yeah, if you're watching this episode or listening today, I believe this episode comes out on the 4th. It's Election Day. And your boy already voted because I'm going to Miami, and I'm not going to be able to vote in Miami because I live in LA. We're going to save that for later in the episode. Spoiler alert, that is going to be our main story about the election. But before we do, let's recap my week. I was in New York. You know, we love New York. We love New York for about 3 days. I don't know how the fuck people live in New York. New York is insane. It's chaos. And just to give you an idea of how fucking chaotic it is all the time, I took a red eye. I landed. I had to go to a meeting with Vivo. And so I woke up, I woke up after like a 3-hour flight or sleep on my flight, barely slept, dropped off my shit at the hotel. I walked out of my hotel, and like soon as I walk out of my hotel, it's just instant madness. I'm in the middle of the fucking Liberty Parade. The WNBA team, the New York Liberty, won the WNBA, which you all know that, right? I mean, we all watched the WNBA championship game, and so we all know that the Liberty won, right? You knew that because you're an avid fan of the WNBA. And so they won, and I walk outside of my hotel, and I am in the middle of the fucking Liberty Parade. And it's just absolute chaos. And there's leaf blowers. Like, there's guys with leaf blowers, like leaf blowing the fucking confetti off the sidewalk. And there's 20 leaf blowers. I'm not exaggerating. In like a 5-block span of me walking before I realized I got to get the fuck off the street, there's just leaf blowers. Like 30 of these motherfuckers, man. I know I just said 20, but now that I'm thinking about it, might have been 30. And you know when you're walking by somebody doing landscape work on the street and they're like leaf blowing or weed whacking, they'll like, as you walk by, they'll like stop or like kind of like blow it away, you know, or like move the fucking, like blow at the ground and like away from you. These guys were just leaf blowing at me, just blowing confetti in my fucking, like I'm walking through a wind tunnel, just getting hit. And then on the street, there's like all these street sweepers going by, just street sweeping the confetti. Where are we blowing the confetti? We're just blowing the confetti around. Where's the confetti go? Why don't you go on the street with vacuums? Why don't we release 30 Roombas down the street? What? You're just going to leaf blow the fucking confetti around the streets in New York, and so it just goes back on the ground. You're just twirling the litter around. Anyway, so that was new. That was like the first minute I walked into the streets of New York. And it just didn't stop from there. It was just chaos. I'm running around. I went to Vivo and then to YouTube and then to Spotify. And then I'm just meeting. And that's New York, right? You go there for the bustle, the greatest city on earth. You go there for the madness, right? But I gotta get out of there. Come like Saturday night, I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this. But what I did do that was incredible. Maybe you saw my friend Nick Dio, dear friend of mine. He's a beast. He works very closely with Gary Vee. He opened a new restaurant called Fly Fish Club, and it was like the coolest fucking thing ever. The dinner was incredible, but then it's like a private exclusive. It's like a Soho House sushi place. It's like a members only thing. I, of course, got to go because, well, I'm special, right? And yeah, the food was amazing. But then after, you like go downstairs to this like speakeasy, like basement area, and there's just like a DJ and like drinks. And then you like walk into the back, and he's like walking me through this restaurant like Goodfellas, you know? And he's like, yeah, yeah. Hey, yo, this is Gino. Hey, you got to meet Gino. I'm like, I met like the center fielder of the Mets. I'm meeting like all these people. And then he like, he goes, watch this. And he pushes the wall. There's like a omakase square on the wall. He pushes it, and the wall opens up, and I walk into a omakase bar with a live DJ. And you just like have some, and there's just like incredible fish everywhere. I'm eating, like, bro, it was nuts. It was the most New York shit ever. I was there till like 2 a.m. It was hella fun, just eating sashimi, and it was a great time. And then I got the fuck out of there, and I got back to LA. Just in time to watch the Detroit Lions take care of business. If you're watching the Good Luck episode today and not listening like you should be, right? You'd see today I'm rocking the Penei Sewell jersey. The number 1 offensive lineman in the NFL. On the number 1 team in the NFL. And you know I know ball because I bought an offensive lineman jersey. I didn't buy a Jared Goff jersey, right? I didn't buy the quarterback. I didn't buy Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, friend of the pod. I didn't buy a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey. We went with the man that turned the franchise around. And tomorrow they take on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Fuck Green Bay forever. And we're going to get the job done, aren't we? We're going to get the job done. One more thing about my week. I'm going to Miami tomorrow night. I'm taking a red out of Miami to work on the new Catriel y Paco Amoroso album. Really excited about that. I'm going to be in Miami for a week. And then I'm going to Houston that weekend to watch the Detroit Lions take on the Texans for my friend Max's bachelor party. So we're going to drop. So I know episodes normally drop on Monday. Next week's episode is going to drop on Tuesday because I get back Monday. And I'm going to have to record. And it's going to be fucking a chaotic episode because it's after the election. So God knows what that episode's going to look like. It's going to be one way or another. It's going to be a fun one. In the world, in the news, around the world news, Russia sued Google this past week for $20 decillion for blocking pro-Kremlin content. I want to make sure I get this number right. I think this is a decillion. 200,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000. That's 34 zeros and literally more money than all of the money in the world combined. Russia sued Google for more than the global GDP for blocking pro-Kremlin content. And just for reference, that's 2 undecillion rubles, which is more because, yeah. So, I mean, that's just objectively very funny. I think I want to sue somebody for $20 decillion, you know? Because obviously Google's just going to they're just not going to they're just going to laugh that off. I'm assuming that lawsuit will probably get thrown out. Although I don't know how lawsuits work in Russia. I feel like if Putin's like, yeah, this is going through, then the Russian judge is like, okay. So I mean, Google's literally just dragging emails from the KGB into the spam folder, you know? Oh, we got another lawsuit's coming. So we'll see what that number ends up looking like. Another funny thing happened. I talked about Waymo on here. You guys remember the Elon Musk robo-taxi episode? Well, I talked about Waymo, how Waymo is, you know, Elon keeps putting off robo-taxis. The release date keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Well, Waymo has been exploding. And they're the driverless robo-taxi cars that are already out in a lot of major cities. I've been seeing them around LA. They're all over San Francisco and New York. And there's a clip that's going viral right now of a Waymo Stand-Off in San Francisco. Let's look at this video real quick.
The Waymo is stuck because the Waymo is trying to go behind the Amazon, but then it's stuck behind the Waymo, and oh my God, there's another Waymo. What's everybody gonna do? What? It is a Waymo standoff. What is gonna happen? What's happening, folks? What's happening? Who's gonna win? I cannot walk away now. I'm way too invested. Who's winning? It's a Waymo standoff. Oh, no. There's 4 of them stuck. And there's 2 on us. I'm not doing anything except filming a really funny event.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like these things are way more stupid than regular drivers, right? I mean, there are way more Waymos than normal in this clip. Enough dad jokes for you? Don't worry. I got Waymo where that came from. No, that's enough. No more. No more Waymo jokes. Yeah, this is like the scene of the Teslas piled up on the freeway in that movie, Leave the World Behind, you know, but just in real life. You know, these are the hiccups that come with emerging technology. You know, the cause of this is obviously the fucking Amazon driver just parked in the middle of the road. Love when they do that. But that's just, you know, it's going to happen in major cities. And like these Waymos don't know how to move. And then I'm in the comments of this video and it's like, oh, look, a human illegally parked. Humans are the problem, not technology. You know, it's like, bro, quit dick sucking robots. All right. Humans are the problem. Yeah, feel free to remove yourself, brother, if you're the problem. Feel free to take care of that problem yourself. Yeah? Humans are going to lead the AI revolution, aren't they? You know? It's not so bad. Well, we're the reason that AI's gone astray. You know, in serious news on Waymo hit 100,000 rides in August, and I remember talking like, "Oh, that's a pretty impressive metric. That's 10x, you know, from months prior." Well, they just announced 150,000 in October. That's a 50% growth in like 2 months, which is nuts. And I think that $45 billion valuation is going to look pretty small pretty quickly as these numbers undoubtedly continue to grow, right? I'm not getting in a Waymo personally yet. I'm like a little scared still, not because of like the auto, you know, I have full self-driving on my Tesla and it's pretty impressive to be honest. Like I still will sometimes take the wheel if I want to just, cause again, it's like overly cautious. It's certain situations. It doesn't know how to fucking move. It doesn't see potholes. And I know that cause I got a flat tire again, cause my full self-driving rode right over a fucking pothole. And I had a flat tire in the middle of the hood at 1 a.m, coming back from the airport, wearing tie-dye rainbow fucking Gucci sweatpants and all my jewelry. And it's 1 a.m, and I have a flat tire in the middle of Inglewood, and I'm fucking screaming at my car and yelling on the phone, only to realize I'm making such a scene. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get myself robbed, aren't I? So that was really cool. Anyway, yeah. So I'm not getting in a Waymo. And also, like, the scary thing about these is, like, they're a target to vandalism and other wild shit while people are inside. I don't know if you've seen these clips, but, like, people will, like, they'll fuck up the Waymo. Like, they'll spray paint the Waymo and fucking hit it with bats and shit while people are in it. Because, like, you can't do anything when you're inside of it. You're just stuck. You're stuck in there. And I don't know, like, what the response time on an emergency button is. And, like, you know, I'm not personally tripping because, like, I'll get out the car and beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to be in that situation because, well, I'm a man of God now. I'm peaceful. I'm not trying to fight. And I don't want to get robbed. So we're just... Anyway, moving on. Enough about Waymo. We got a lot to fucking cover on our main story. Guys, I know it's been a little while since we've journeyed on over to the leading source of news and the most trusted news network. But while we dive into our main story on the election day, and voting, I think it's only right we journey on over to GNN. Welcome to GNN, your leading source of news, politics, and today, politics. And now your host, Gino the Ghost. Welcome to GNN. I'm your host, Gino the Ghost, and this is the news. Let's talk about the election, yeah? Buckle the fuck up. And you know what? We're going to put on the pitties. And not just any pitties, guys. We brought the America pitties today because of course we did. Because it's time to talk about voting. And it's only right we have the pitties on. God damn, they look good, don't they? We got the I voted sticker. And you know what else? I think I'm going to grab the America hat. Gengar, can I borrow that hat from you, bud? Hold on, guys. Yeah, Gengar, I need... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you fucking bet. You fucking bet I do. Oh, yeah. God damn it, if I don't look American now, I don't... We're showing off that patriotism today. Guys, this podcast episode drops on Election Day. And look, I don't really ever mince my words. And I don't hold my opinions to myself when it comes to this stuff. I know politics are touchy. And I made a statement on here a couple weeks ago where I was like, I don't want this show to get too political. I don't want to talk about politics all the time. You know, you guys come here to laugh. But God damn it, it's my duty as an American citizen and as a upcoming celebrity. I'm like an adjacent celebrity. I'm like getting there, right? Borderline celebrity in some circles. And it's my job as a borderline celebrity to just tell you my political opinion and act like you give a shit. And that's my job. I have to do that. You understand? I have to act like my opinion is more valid than others because of my status. And we're going to go ahead and do that today. But no, jokes aside, I like to consider myself somebody who comes from I look at things very rationally. I'm a moderate. I was a Republican who turned Democrat, who turned moderate. I'm not a single issue voter. I came into this election, planning to vote Republican, candidly. I was exhausted with Biden. I disagree with a lot of the policies. I'm not a big fan of the anti-big tech, anti-crypto legislation specifically. Not a fan of the warmongering. I'm not a fan. And he's deteriorating mentally. And so I was like, I'm not voting for Biden in this upcoming election. Well, then Trump was named the nominee. And I was like, okay, well, I fucking hate Donald Trump. So now I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I won't vote. And then Kamala was appointed, whether you agree with that or not. She was named the candidate. And, I was not stoked on Kamala. I didn't know too much about her like most people. And I I went into things like, well, maybe I'll just either not vote for president. I'll vote for all my, everybody else, obviously. But I was like, let me learn, let me watch, let me go into this cycle and let the candidates decide for me. Let me process information as it comes in, hear the policies laid out, and make a decision. Now, you've probably made up your mind already, but I'm going to tell you why I voted for Kamala Harris. You might not agree with me, but I hope you listen with an open mind. Because I gotta get all this off my chest. I gotta talk about it. I gotta lay it out and detail it, kind of for myself. And this podcast is for myself. This is just a diary entry for me into the world. And without further ado, I'm gonna get into it. Right. So, the number one thing I think before we talk about policy and everything else, and I think this is an issue for most voters, the guy is unfit to rule. He is deteriorating. He is unhinged. I mean, as I'm putting this segment together, this rally yesterday where he gives a microphone a blowjob. Look at this fucking clip. Everyone seemed like the short clip. I'm going to play the long clip because I think it shows just how insane he is. Here's the full clip from the microphone blowjob debacle.
But I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. The only thing I ask for is a good mic. And this is the second time today that this happened. So now if I were the president, and you know, like a dopey guy like this Kelly, the guy's a total moron, and that happened, I'd fire him, and everybody would say, gee, I'm such a bad person. You're not bad. You fire people. When, for instance, the generals that destroyed us in Afghanistan, every one of them should have been fired. Should have been fired.
Gets a new microphone.
Hello? Hello? I don't think so. Hello? Is that better? Is that better? That's terrible. Is that better back there? Is that yes or no? What crap. The only thing I ask for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic. And I went through 2 of these today. And it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I said, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So, I had to go. Way too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this, and I'm, did you notice? I was bending over like this, hello.
Bro.
And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that guy? They're saying he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? What a shame. But we're gonna come back. I'm gonna give you a free performance back in that corner. You got a bad area back there.
Nice.
But I think this is better. I think it's probably better.
Cool. Yeah, that's fucking just, I mean, look at this. Look at this again.
So, I had to go.
I mean, bro is Hawk 2ing the microphone. I always knew Trump admired Ronald Reagan, but it turns out he also revered Nancy Reagan. I mean, he grabs the mic right by the pussy and then just proceeds to give it fellatio? That mic has already been forced to sign an NDA. That mic has already settled out of court for 6 figures with him. It's unpresidential. It's insane. It's like, oh, you see the quick clip. Wow, haha, that's funny and like also ridiculous and like gross and like, but then everyone's like, well, it's taken out of context. Oh, well, there's the full context, and hey, it makes them look worse. That's a 3-minute rambling rant that felt like 30 minutes, and which he just calls the people who are setting up the sound idiots. In the midst of that, he demonstrates the double grippy had to pay 6 figures in hush money just to keep the fucking mic quiet. You know what I mean? Demonstrating his negotiation tactics with Vladimir Putin. It's disgusting. This is the choice of evangelical Christians. It's just him, all his experience from all those Diddy parties he attended or with Epstein. Oh, you haven't heard? 100 hours of tapes of Jeffrey Epstein just dropped. Yeah, journalist Michael Wolff just released 100 hours of tapes from 2017 in which he's interviewing Jeffrey Epstein for a documentary. And in those tapes, Jeffrey Epstein calls Trump his, quote, closest friend for 10 years. Here's one of the recordings that was released. Let's play it.
So how do you know this?
That was closest friend.
So I need the dump. Just give me Donald.
First, it's fun. As you probably know, he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp movement in the system. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone as a fake PR person.
Mm.
I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do you? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do you have sex? Don't you want the trouble? You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic Hawaiian. So come over 3 o'clock. You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs.
So there's 100 hours of this. He's been releasing these tapes slowly. He's been teasing this for a little while. Details of his proclivity for sex, including cuckolding his best friends and their wives, and revealing that Trump first slept with Melania on my plane, dubbed the Lolita Express. And, it certainly makes this Fox interview with Trump from July even more suspicious. Do you guys remember this when they asked him to release the Epstein tapes? Like, are you going to release the Epstein tapes? Let's listen to this, and maybe you can see why this now feels a little bit more suspicious. It already felt suspicious, but let's just,
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would
I
you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
Interesting. Well, that's interesting. It's bizarre because MAGA uses Epstein as a poster child for pedophilic evil in the underbelly of powerful scum and the Clintons and all these liberal pedos. And yet they turn a blind eye and have turned a blind eye to Epstein and Trump's 15-year friendships. All the photos, all the videos of them together. If these recordings were about Biden or Harris or Walz, they'd never stop talking about it. And because it's Trump, we're just going to forget it existed. I mean, QAnon's been awful quiet about this one. It's misinformation. It must be fake. It's right in front of your face. You're jumping through hoops and doing mental gymnastics to deny what is it's just so fucking painstakingly obvious. I like to forget my president exists for days at a time. That's how I like to look at politics. I don't want to have to log on to the internet every day and find some new bizarre, disgusting quote or something absurd or a story or a woman coming forward or Jeffrey Epstein talking about his intimate knowings of the inner workings of the White House as early as 2016 with Trump. I don't want to Trump is exhausting. He's vulgar. He's dishonest. He's disingenuous. He's dangerous. And he's deteriorating. He's unhinged. He's incoherent. He holds these rallies and rambles about himself for hours, weaving about Hannibal Lecter and his beautiful white skin. He pivoted from drain the swamp to literally selling out to billionaires. And oh yeah, he tried to overthrow the election. Oh yeah, remember that? And he's setting the stage already saying this election's rigged. They're stealing votes. They're turning people. He's sued Pennsylvania already. He's setting the stage. Fair and free elections are a cornerstone of a constitutional republic. Perhaps the greatest damage Trump has caused this country is the baseless conspiracy of election denial. Well, he turned over power last time, and he'll do it again. What are you worried about? Checks and balances worked. Yeah, but he tried not to turn over power. He tried to overthrow the election. Like someone trying to rob a bank and being like, well, the security system caught him. It worked. Then letting him walk back into the bank with a loaded gun. Don't worry, the security's great. Don't worry, the police will be here. Do you fucking, understand how insane that is? Peaceful transfer of power. You know who doesn't have peaceful transfer of power? Dictatorships. Russia. I only like democracy when my team wins. If they don't, it's cheating. You don't actually like democracy. And you know what you sound like? Somebody making excuses for losing. If Kamala loses, and I voted for her, now granted, I'm not like a crazy fucking far leftist who's like, my life hinges on the Democrats winning. I have white privilege. You know, my life won't change much. But guess what? If he wins, he wins. And if he wins, Biden will peacefully transfer power because that's what you do in a democracy. You know? Okay, so let's move. Look, his morality's in question. Even his own fucking voters will admit that. Okay, so, he's paid a porn star hush money and he's got, rape cases and, he's fucking, whatever. He's close friends with Epstein. Oh, and he, by his own accounts, was great friends with Diddy and vouched for Diddy. Oh, big deal. We're voting for president, not the Pope. Trump is getting, he's better for the economy, right? Sure. Let's look at the economy. Because again, I'm not a single issue voter. And hey, my bags are directly impacted by who's the president. So let's look at economy. The only piece of economic legislation that Trump passed in office was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And that basically just was a giant tax break for the richest of the rich, right? And the whole thing is built on trickle-down economics. Well, trickle-down economics don't work. And they haven't worked for over 4 decades. If you don't know what trickle-down economics are, the idea is you give tax cuts to large corporations, and then they use that money to create more jobs and raise wages. You give a tax cut to the top, and all the money saved trickles down to the lower paid people, right? And the employees. Yeah. It doesn't work. That money from tax cuts went almost exclusively to executives, and corporate owners, just like it always has. Middle-class wages did not go up. Most money went to stock buybacks and dividends and vacations and bonuses. AT&T got a fucking fat-ass tax break. They fired 30,000 people. Okay? Now, these aren't my opinions, and this is what's great about economics. It's just numbers. There's no feelings. It's just data. It's stats. So you can masquerade and talk, well, Trump's a businessman. Let's talk business. Let's talk economy. Sure, let's talk economy. Trickle-down economics don't trickle down. They sprint up. I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm a proponent. But 1% of America owning 30% of the nation's wealth is bad for capitalism. I'm not a socialist. I care about my bags. I don't want everybody getting a fucking handout. I don't want to pay crazy taxes. Trump isn't giving you a tax break, person listening to this podcast. I'm not sure, but I don't think many millionaires listen to this podcast. Maybe a handful. Trump inherited a booming economy. The economy's booming right now. Record low unemployment rates, significant job creation, resilient GDP growth, reflecting robust post-pandemic recovery numbers. Inflation's falling, lowest number since 2021. I know it doesn't feel like it because everything's so expensive, but the rate of inflation is it's at like 2.4%. So what's Trump's plan to lower inflation for America? Trump's plan? Tariffs. Tariffs. His plan is to eliminate income tax and replace it with tariffs, which you can't do, first of all. And then he also wants to implement 20% tax on tariffs on all imports. Do you guys know what tariffs are? Because you can pretty much fold anybody's debate in favor of Trump's economic plan by just explaining how tariffs work. And the reason most people don't know what tariffs are is because they gave them a fancy buzzword. Tariffs are really just an import tax. We pay the tariff. Not China. Not the place we're importing from. They don't pay the tax. We pay the tax. The party receiving the import is paying the tax. The consumer pays the difference. Let me give you an example. I sell you the material to make these glasses, right? I sell you the material to make these pitties for $10, and you sell it for $30. There's a 20% or $20 profit margin, right? Okay. Now, what if I make you pay me $20 for the materials for these glasses instead of $10? Are you still going to sell the glasses for $30? No. You're going to sell it for more to save your profit margin. That's how tariffs work. So you're not going to lower inflation by imposing a 20% tariff tax on all imported goods. You're going to raise inflation. Things are going to be more expensive. Well, that'll bring more money into the U.S. because manufacturing will come back to the U.S. Wrong. We live in a global economy, and we're never going back. Sorry, this isn't the fucking roaring 20s. It'll take decades to start that level of manufacturing here, and we probably won't even do it because the cost of labor in the U.S. is wildly more expensive. So much so, it's always more expensive to pay production costs in the U.S. versus overseas where the cost of goods is like 1/10 the price. They'll just pay the tariff because it's incrementally cheaper to do that. Inflation will explode. But guess what? It won't explode because he's not even going to do it. No one's going to fucking vote for it. No one's going to pass that legislation because it's fucking stupid. And the Republicans know that. I won't sit here and act like Kamala's perfect. I won't. And you're lying if you think so. No candidate's perfect, okay? But I can't stomach the alternative. This man loves himself and he hates America. Don't take my word for it, take his. He talks about it fucking constantly. When you vote, you're voting for the person who offers stability and security and leadership, a manager of the country, right? Voting is not black and white. It's a calculation, an equation of the least detrimental. And the equation is a simple one, okay? When you really fucking look at it, unhinged, low moral compass, horrible fucking economic policy, racist, to name a few. Put your party politics aside and look at this guy for what he is. You know what he is. He's a grifter. He's a criminal. He's a felon. He's a rapist. He's racist. He's 80. He's deteriorating. He's rambling. He's incoherent. And you know that. You know that. So, hey, vote for whoever you want. I did something cheeky. I voted. You guys ever heard of Polymarket? I talked about it a little while ago. It's a prediction market. And it's a prediction market where it's a crypto based, right? So you bet with crypto, if you will. And it's a prediction market that's backed by Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire Republican. He's the one who pretty much appointed J.D. Vance. I talked about Peter Thiel on the J.D. Vance episode many, many moons ago when he was named the VP. And anyway, so it's backed by Peter Thiel. And, you know, crypto bros are super Republican because the Biden administration's crypto policy is very Gary Gensler is very anti-crypto. Up until recently, when they completely 180'd, which is good. And Kamala has come out and said that she's going to be pro-crypto and Gensler's out of here and yada, yada, yada. Anyway. Polymarket. On Polymarket, because it's such a Republican-based platform, the odds in favor of Kamala Harris were crazy low. Like Trump was leading like 69% to 31% end of last week on Polymarket to win. So what did I do? Well, I know that the data shows that it's really fucking close. It's certainly not 69% to 31%. So I placed a pretty sizable bet on Kamala Harris on Polymarket. And what's interesting about Polymarket is that, you know, it's not like you think about like sports betting, like you place a bet like, I think the Lions are going to win the game. And you just have that bet. You know, you bet $100 to win like $180 or some shit like that. And then they either win or they lose, and you get your money if they win, and you lose your money if they lose. In Polymarket, you buy shares. So you can buy, you know, for example, like I bought X amount of shares at 32 cents that Kamala Harris was going to win the election. Well, what's happened this past week since I bought those shares, the odds have done this. Because, you know, what happened on Polymarket, there was a mysterious whale who bet $4 million, who bought $4 million of shares that Trump was going to win. So the election data was super skewed on here. I knew that. And I bought a bunch of shares of Kamala. And now it's almost neck and neck. So my shares that I bought at 33 cents are now at 46 cents. And it's much like the stock market. So now my portfolio has gone up. So what's cool, again, about Polymarket, and this is not an ad, this is just, I just think this shit's tight. You can sell shares at any time. So if I wanted, I could like sell a bunch of shares, lock in my profit, and then like let the rest ride. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty tight. It's pretty cool. And I feel good about the bet. And here's the thing. It's a hedge on my crypto portfolio because if Trump wins, crypto's going to fucking rip instantly. And so my portfolio is going to go up. I might lose this bet, but my portfolio is going to go up. If he loses, there will be a flash crash because crypto bros are dumb and they're going to panic and they're going to be like, oh, now crypto's dead because the Democrats back in office, even though they're the ones that passed the ETF. And then I'll make that money and then it'll be a hedge on. So anyway, it's a cheeky play. We'll keep you posted how it turns out, huh? So anyway, that's my rant on Trump. I'm going to have a quick sip of this unbranded water. If you're still listening and you don't fucking hate me as a Republican, I appreciate you at least hearing me out. It's not going to change your vote anyway because you don't even care that he is fucking besties with Epstein, do you? You're still going to vote for him. And that's your choice. That's your prerogative. But now we're going to get to everyone's favorite segment. And we're going to reunite back bipartisan. And we're going to laugh at the FOH HOF. The fuck out of here Hall of Fame. I'm going to take off the pitties. We're going to put them back on Pikachu. And we are going to get into it now. Okay, you all right there, Pika? You good? Okay. Let's put the cardies back on. And we're going to take off the hat, too. I'm going to take off the hat. That's enough about America. It's fucked either way, huh? Okay. All right. It's time for the FOH HOF, the fuck out of here Hall of Fame. And our first episode, or our first video, is a song that is just the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Here it goes.
Took the fear of God in me when I first saw her. I prayed it all away, and so now I'm not gay.
He came up to my house, asked for my hand from my father. I let him in my barn, we took a roll in the hay.
And the sinner's gonna say that our love is fake.
But the way he makes me feel, it's like an earthquake.
Heterosexuality. Got my beer in my truck and my girls with me. Heterosexuality. Stand by my man, it's the American dream.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah, dude. Now that's what I call conversion therapy. What a tune, huh? This is like if Brokeback Mountain was a Clint Eastwood movie. Heterosexuality. Yes, King. Serving heterosexuality. Am I right? Bro jumped in a pile of leaves and emerged a straight man. You know, he slayed the gay way. And now he's straight. We need some Travis Scott ad-libs on this. Straight up! You know? Straight up! It's your wifey's favorite devout, totally straight husband. Move over, Brat Summer. It's going to be a beard winter. That's right, Bears. Time to hibernate your homosexuality forever. With this new tune by Tim McGraw. Dude, this fucking song, huh?
Took the fear of God in me when I first saw her. I prayed it all away, and so now I'm not gay.
He came up to my house, asked for my hand from my father. I let him in my barn, we took a roll in the hay.
And
Roll in the hay.
the sinner's gonna say that our love is fake.
But the way he makes me feel, it's like an earthquake.
Heterosexuality. Got my beer in my truck and my girls with me. Heterosexuality.
I mean, what a fucking tune, huh? This is the intro theme to Real Housewives of Republican Senators. New Mormon anthem just dropped. Dude, country music, huh? This is the new country music in Biden's America. Maybe this is why Zach Bryan left his wife. Maybe he cheated on her with a guy. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, man. Pray that gay away. Our Father, who aren't a homo, hetero be thy gays. Got to pry the pride out of these God-fearing men, huh? Pride Month is getting red-pilled. Am I right? You know, every action is a opposite reaction. And this is a direct reaction to Unholy by Sam Smith. We got to bring it back. You know, we got to bring back pop music to the Lord. Amen. Straight men. In Jesus' name, straight men. Okay. I mean, that's going to be in rotation all week. What an absolute bop. Next video. Speaking of beards.
Back in the early 2000s, if I kept a beard, it was going to cost me approximately $1,000 a month to keep it in lost sales. Now, $1,000 back then is equivalent to probably about $3,000 a month right now for you. And I will share with you that I did not keep a beard until I became a millionaire. And I personally wouldn't if I were you, because I like money more than I like facial hair. And if you have a beard, it has to be kept daily. I'm talking about lined up daily. You want to be able to see the skin through it. Keep it short enough. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying if you don't, you're trading money for facial hair. And I'm totally cool with that if you can afford it.
Got it. How much do those bedazzled jeans cost you in sales? How much are those women's True Religion jeans costing you on average in sales when you roll up in those fucking apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, Just a completely made up study, right? Studies show that having a beard actually costs you $1,000 a day in sales. These guys are running out of shit to say. I think redhead Tom Wamsgans here just can't grow a beard. And so he's coping with this fucking made-up beard study. Or he just sucks at sales. I mean, I would have purchased that vehicle, but my slob of a sales associate had facial hair. That 5 o'clock shadow has already cost you $500. I wonder how many more podcast listeners I'd have if I shaved my beard. I mean, what year is it? 1927? This is like the, they're not going to hire you if you have tattoos type of rhetoric. A beard does not result in less sales. People don't take you less serious because you have a beard. What is this? A sales course for Mormons? I mean, most of these grifters live in Utah, so it wouldn't surprise me, but I think Alex Hormozy and this guy should fight to the death to settle this once and for all, because apparently Alex Hormozy is fucking grifter Jesus. So somebody's lying. There can only be one. Personally, I don't trust people that don't have beards with sales. I'm not going to buy a car from a guy without a beard. I'm an American. And what's interesting, the Journal of Business Research published a study that found male salespeople with beards were often perceived as more trustworthy, competent, and experienced than their clean-shaven counterparts. The study suggested that bearded men may be seen as more authoritative, which can be advantageous in settings where customers value expertise. So take that, bitch. You bald-faced bitch. This segment brought to you by Manscaped. Last video here. Look, I'm a fan of Lay Bankz, but this video came across my desk, and well, look, as you know, anybody can get it, right? Nobody is safe from slander, even friends of mine. And Lay, I don't know Lay Bankz personally, and there's a chance I might work with her one day, but maybe not after this video. Here we go.
The scientists are running tests on us because you know melatonin is worth more than gold, and you can't find it anywhere else. It's only in our skin. So, I don't know, it's just so many things. And then on top of that too, like, think about Africa, like Egypt. How were the pyramids built? They still don't have no real answer. They think that the Egyptians had some kind of technology that we don't have access to. But how, if though that was like millions of years ago. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, what technology could they possibly have had that we don't have now? Especially being as though that AI is so advanced now. Like, let's consider the fact that you can literally make an AI song now with Drake's voice and it sounds like Drake.
Sometimes it sounds like
It's
it could
scary.
come out. Yeah.
AI can write music now, and you know what's crazy? Also, people are saying that in a couple years, well, scientists are saying that in a couple years, AI will be so smart that it will be nothing you can ask it that it won't know the answer to. Which is, I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, Lay. What did she say here in the beginning?
The scientists are running tests on us because you know melatonin is worth more than gold, and you can't find it anywhere else. It's only in our skin.
Melatonin? You mean melanin? Yeah, melatonin is only in black people's skin. No wonder why I'm always so wired. I thought it was the caffeine, but it turns out I just don't have any melatonin in my skin. That's why when you're that's why tanning makes you sleepy. Tanning makes you sleepy because you're increasing your melatonin while you're tanning, and you know the sun emits melatonin. You absorb and oh, honey. Also, melanin is worth more than gold is like a thing that people say, and it's like, you know, that refers to synthetic melanin, right? You know, that's like produced in a lab for scientific and industrial application, like computer chips, not the melanin naturally found in skin. You know that, right? You know that the government isn't kidnapping black children and extracting the color out of their skin and selling it, right? You know that, right? So, also, millions of years ago?
The scientists still don't have no real answer. They think that the Egyptians had some kind of technology that we don't have access to. But how, if that was like millions of years ago?
Millions of years ago? Maybe the Egyptians hired dinosaurs to build the pyramids. Oh, she's so excited to talk about this stuff, but just wrong, you know? It kind of bums me out. It's like if almost but not quite was a person. You know, she's on the right track, but the train engine is broken, you know? She's on the right track, but the train conductor has too much melatonin and fell asleep at the wheel. She's got the right idea, but the wrong words, you know? She's on the edge of discovery, but the edges is actually just her edges, you know? She's right there. Oh, you're right there, Lay. It's like when you speed run a book right before presenting to the class. You know? She really thought she was onto something. And the comments are hilarious, of course. She better be careful. She's about to end up dead mysteriously. Watch. From what? Melatonin overdose? Who's coming after her? Oh, she better not expose our melatonin operation that we're running. Big melatonin's coming. Big GNC's coming after her. She better watch out. They're harvesting black children to make melatonin pills to sell to people trying to get over fucking, what's it called when you're jet lag, you know? God, I fucking butchered that one, huh? I mean, what is she fucking talking about, dude? She went from like melatonin to the pyramids to AI. She's just like spamming buzzwords, you know? The interviewers are wrong. The interviewers knew this was going viral. They were like fucking chomping at the bit. They were like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. What the fuck is she yapping about, you know? Oh, poor Lay Bankz. Anyway, all right. Look, that's going to conclude our show. Again, I don't want to... Next week's episode is probably also going to be political because, of course, it's going to be a shit show after the election one way or another. Spoiler alert, they're either going to say it was rigged if Kamala wins or Trump is going to win. And who knows what the country's going to look like after that. but I would like to not have to talk about politics on the show. And that's kind of where I'm getting. That's kind of my main point here. I don't want to get on here and be bitching about politics and talking about the fucking president of the United States and the ridiculous shit that he did today. I don't want to have to do that. I want to talk about music and tech and current events and make fun of people that deserve to be made fun of. That's what I want this show to be. And I just fear we're not going to get that if another 4 years of Donald Trump is in our future. Okay? And that's where we're at. I don't know what happens. It's all good. Listen, I love you either way. I appreciate you watching the show either way. And it's okay that we don't agree on things. I just want you to hear me out. And that's all I can ask. We hear each other out. Okay? Fucking kumbaya. And not, I'm going to be the fucking president in about 8 or 12 years. So you can look forward to that and vote for me then. That's going to conclude our episode this week, guys. I want to thank you if you're listening. I want to thank Beyonce once again for making this all possible and allowing me to have a podcast. Thank you, Beyonce. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you like it, give it 5 stars, save it to your device, send it to a loved one or an arch nemesis. If you're watching on YouTube, what you should be watching on YouTube, you're going to go ahead and just tickle that like button, and then you're going to give the people's elbow to the subscribe button, kind of like this. And then you're going to go ahead and grease up that rhythm. You're going to go into your basement, you're going to grab the leftover Diddy oil, and you're going to grease up that algorithm because you're an oil man. I'm an oil man. This is my son, my business partner, HW. You're going to grease up that algorithm by leaving a comment. You're going to tell me why you agree with me on Donald Trump, or you're going to tell me to go fuck myself and you're voting for Donald Trump, and that's fine, and that's up to you, but it's going to help the algorithm. So go argue in the comments, yeah? And yeah, that's going to conclude our episode. Thanks again. We'll be back next Tuesday. Again, we'll be back on Tuesday with our post-election recap episode. And let's send it off with everyone's favorite AI theme song, yeah? Until next week, as the world continues to crumble into madness and we brace ourselves for January 6th, Part 2, good night and good luck.
Everybody listen close. There's a brand new show that you gotta.
What's the name of that show, Pikachu? With who? Oh, right. That's me.
It's gonna get you moving, get you in the zone. Good luck, good vibes, good times. With Gino by your side, hey. You'll be feeling fine.
Come on.
Every week, he's gonna bring the hype. Woo! So come on, let's go.
Hit that note for me, Pikachu, would you?